Pooja Giri, thank you so much for joining us. Please introduce yourself fully, tell us about your work, and please tell us a story.
Thank you, Eric. My name is Pooja Giri. I live in Chennai in Tamil Nadu, India. I'm a storyteller for the past decade. I did a program with Katalia and later on with Eric. That being said, I'm a teacher like Joyce. I teach elementary children, a Montessori teacher between 6 to 12 years. But luck for me is that Montessori training and teaching is all about telling stories. So even if I'm not doing storytelling all the time, which I would love to, when I do my training, because we do tell stories to the children to bring out their imagination about ideas and concepts, I'm in a way doing storytelling every day. So I don't feel so bad that my love for storytelling keeps me away because of my work. The story that I'm presenting today is called Bread Labor. The idea of bread labor was introduced by a lot of people, a Russian writer, Tolstoy, Ruskin Bond, and Mahatma Gandhi. And the idea is that God created man to work, and if man did not work for his food, the food that he was eating was like stolen food. So one had to work hard for one's food, and one had to sacrifice and work hard. And if you did not, it was stolen food or you were like a thief. So Gandhiji thought about this. He was influenced by Tolstoy and by Ruskin Bond, who wrote upon this. And so my story takes off from there. The wind from the window crept into the office room, creating various shadows on the tables and chairs. A glint of light caught the office stand. The cleaning staff had just left to step outside to smoke a beedi, have a little chit-chat, and maybe share some food. Have they left? Whispered the wastepaper basket. I think so, said the broom. They are laughing outside. Definitely not coming back, said the pan. Wait, I see them huddled together, said the fan, using full advantage of his height from right above. Definitely not coming back. Oh, my stomach, said the wastepaper basket. Not feeling too good, so squeezy inside because of rotting banana peels, pan spit, and dirty, rotten food cards. Oh no, I'm so squeezy in. What can we do, said the pan. Oh, stop being such a drama queen, said the fan. Now listen to me, both you broom and pan. I have a plan, said the fan, being the leader of the gang. Broom, do you think you can push yourself against the wall and away from the wall and come closer to the pan? So Broom used all his might, pushed himself away from the wall and started inching towards the pan. Pan relaxed, and soon Broom and Pan were together. Now listen, both of you. I'm going to tell you my plan. I want both of you to come right in front of the wastepaper basket. Turn left. Stop. Just 4 steps. Come back a little bit towards the right. No. Gone too ahead. Come back a bit. Do a little turn. Just a tilt. Started navigating the fan for both the pan and the broom to come right in front of the wastepaper basket. And it was not before long that they were there. The pan and the broom. The fan definitely had a plan. He knew that at a particular time, the wind which crept in from the window would come inside and give a huge gush of wind required for the wastepaper basket to tilt on its side. The pan and the broom waited. Silence was all around, except for the groans and moans of the poor wastepaper basket. The pan waited, and soon the blades of the fan started to move. He knew the wind was arriving, and at the right moment he gave the signal. Now said the fan. The broom used all his might to push the pan, and the pan went thump and hit the waste paper basket, and the waste paper basket fell on its side, and the debris all splashed and strewn across the office room. I feel so much better. Thank you, friends, said the waste paper basket. The new intern was the first to arrive at the office and half an hour early the next morning. But when he walked in, the stench and the stink of the debris caught his nose. Soon, the regulars walked in, but he didn't bother about the debris, the stink, or the stench. They just took paper and cleaned their desks and went about the work. The intern went to the supervisor. Sir, there is so much of debris all around. The stink is too much. Shall I call housekeeping? Boy, do you think this is some five-star hotel? Call housekeeping staff, you say. If you're so interested, take that broom and pan and clean it yourself. The intern was not new to this. He had come from a village where he cleaned the front yard of his house every day under the strict supervision of his grandmother, who nagged him to clean if he missed a spot. So he picked up the broom and the pan and started to clean. But 3 days later, there was debris again all over. The intern could not understand how this office atmosphere was so okay with all the other staff. It was so distasteful. The stink and the stench bothered him. And when he cleaned, no one came to help him. It was as if he did not exist. And this worried the intern. How come all the superiors walked around with the air of superiority and did not worry about the stench? The intern had come to this position after long work and labor of his parents to get him this position through his education. He was part of a factory, the office that he worked in, which was making automobile parts. And the factory was limping month after month. Rumors were that the factory would close down soon. The intern was anxious. 2 weeks later, the intern came up with a plan. One day, he waited in the office for all the staff to leave and held himself back at the end of the corridor. When everybody had left and the fans and lights were switched off, he was just about to walk in and do what he wanted to do when he heard noises, men and women walking inside the office room. So he waited for them. It was the cleaning staff who walked in and said, "Oh, we have to clean this crummy place," taking out their filthy, stinking cloths. "I have got a job in a new office with a uniform," said another. "I would not be working here soon." The factory anyway is going to shut, and so will the office. "I hope a mall comes up. It will be more fancy," said another staff. 20 minutes later, they were out, just cleaning maybe the first 6 tables and chairs, but cobwebs, dirty tables and chairs, overspilling waste paper baskets, and stinking debris still all around. The intern waited. The next morning, the intern was the first to arrive again. He waited in the foyer area. The regulars walked in as usual, passed by him as if he didn't exist. And as they opened the door, and one of the staff was saying, "You know, the projections of this," they were in silence. Sweet, fragrant smell took over their noses. They were silent. And as the others walked in, silence again. "What has happened? Who has been in our office? Look at this floor. It's sparkling clean. My God, I can see the tree from the window. My desk is shining and so clean. How does this happen? Who came in?" The group leader said, "Wait, I will talk to the general manager. All of you get to work." That day, no one loitered or gossiped. They went about their work quietly. And when they finished their work, they took all the trash and put it in a black bag. And the next day, the same thing happened, and the next, and the next. A few weeks later, the intern left. No one noticed. A notice was put up on the office notice board that a meeting was being called in the canteen. There was a general buzz. What was the meeting about? And as much as all the staff tried to get information from the secretaries, they didn't know. The general manager and his secretary didn't know. So on that day, the staff went inside the canteen. There were sparkling tables and chairs, and a table with hot tea and coffee and piping samosas and laddus. While everybody was talking, what was this meeting called about? An elderly gentleman walked in with a young man by his side. Isn't that intern Rahul by the side of the elderly gentleman? Asked one of the staff. I can't recognize, I didn't give him a proper look, said another. While the general manager, who was having his tea, recognized the elderly gentleman and started walking towards him, he was stopped by the elderly gentleman, signaling it to him. And this gentleman said, my name is Shiv Subramaniam. I am the managing director of this company, and this is Rahul, the intern. I have not been too well for a long time, and I believe the factory as well. One day I decided to pass by the office and the factory. The security guards, as usual, were sleeping. I crept inside the office and saw a single light on and a young boy cleaning the floors, dusting. I went up to him and asked him who he was, and he told me that his name was Rahul, the intern. He said, sir, people are so worried about the future of the factory that they're just not bothered about the filth, the stink, and the debris around them. From where I come, my village, we stay fit and healthy by doing manual labor. So I decided to clean the office for them. It has motivated them, sir. I see that. The managing director said, I picked up a duster and started cleaning with Rahul. And when we finished, we left, and I gave him my card to meet me soon. He did meet me, and we discussed about the factory, about the failing orders, the need for new equipment. And Rahul motivated me to start fresh again and bring the factory back in order. I think all of us here should take Rahul by his example of what he has done. Very important, said the managing director. And that's all I have to say. The crowd cheered on. That evening, the fan called for a meeting of his friends. The managing director's announcement came to him through the wind. Friends, don't worry, we're going to be fit and healthy always. That young boy, Rahul, that intern, he's going to make sure that we are. Dustbin, waste paper basket, you're never going to have a stomach cramp. Believe me, we are all going to retire with dignity. Good night, my friends. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You told that story with all of your heart and soul.
Thank you.
Now, was that story written by your mother?
Yes, yes, yes. She is the one who wrote the story for me, yes.
Oh, she wrote it for you.
I mean, she's not wrote it for me. I mean, she's written the story. So, and when I told her about a couple of stories that I wanted to do based on the theme, she felt this would be very apt. Growing, transforming, learning. If you definitely Google about bread labor, a lot comes up. Gandhiji's thoughts on ahimsa and bread labor, the importance of working and sacrificing one's self for one's own food, that nothing comes easy, things like that. So, yes.
Is your mother?
And I thought it was very apt for this theme that we are having, transforming, teaching, you know, because, and there is a bit of Gandhiji in it and Tolstoy. It goes, actually, it's all over because there's a Russian writer And then there's Tolstoy, there's Ruskin Bond, and Gandhiji who have spoken a lot about it.
What is your mother's name?
So Raksha Giri.
She has just joined us. It seems her camera is off, but she's here.
I'll ask her 1 minute. You would like to say hello to her?
Well, oh, she's in the same room or next room.
Yes, 1 second.
Ask if she can turn her camera on, if she can.
Yes, yes. 1 second, Eric. 1 second. Yes, so she writes. So she has published 2 books herself, one fiction, one non-fiction, self-published. And she writes a lot of stories, short stories, children's books. So yeah, she writes every day, whether it is fiction or not fiction.
Wonderful for you to have a parent like that.
True, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So, I mean, when I started reading the story, in fact, for me, I told my mother, very different from the other stories that she's given me, because she has given me other stories too, which I've done as part of Chennai Storytellers. But I said this was, the one was the voices, but to get the feel of the story, to get it across, the idea was so different from others that she had written. So, so I said, okay, this is what I want to choose. And you had asked, so every day I would come back, am I doing justice to it or not? The way it was wanted to be told.
Could you ask her if she could turn
Yes,
on the
she's
camera?
right here. No, she's right here next to me.
Thank you very much.
Rick, how are you?
Okay, so the different objects in the office, they could talk, right?
Yes.
What gave you the inspiration for that? Did you just make it up, or did you have any models in mind?
No, I was just thinking that making them, personifying them as also being part of the environment, we could show a lot more sensitivity to how we handle objects and things like that. And it's all part of the totality. I mean, it's not that you kick around something and then you expect to be a soft, gentle person with something else, a human being. All these are part of our behavioral patterns.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
You two are a great team.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to add anything, or shall we proceed? Maybe that's enough. Okay, Pooja, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Eric, for the opportunity, and thank you so much, everybody, for listening in.